Cape Town is set to collide with the freshwater crisis in 2013, but there are more than 15 sweetwater springs still bubbling out of the ground and going to waste in the city.
Daar word ook gesê dat Kaapstad nooit sonder die bestaan van die fonteine gevestig sou word nie. Saam met die natuurlike afloop van Tafelberg vorm die fonteine 'n indrukwekkende tweeledige watersisteem wat na 'n belovende oplossing lyk vir Kaapstad se varswaterkrisis.
The organisation Reclaim Camissa is wanting to once again harness the water and its latent hydropower to reinstate Cape Town's city heritage.
Let's take a look at a wonderful water resource that has been on our doorstep for all this time, but was scrapped from the National Acid Resource Register in 1994. We will join Dominic Wilhelm to find out more about the Reclaim Camissa project. Camissa being the original name given to the Cape Town CBD by the Khoi farmers. Camissa meaning the place of sweet waters. Did you know that more than 15 ancient springs bubble beneath the city of Cape Town? Simultaneously, one of the greatest wastages and potential sources of natural fresh water in Cape Town. It is a fact that without these springs, the mother city would never have been established.
5 of Table Mountain's artesian freshwater springs, namely Beltsfontein, Skaltsfontein, Kleinteenklip and Verlatenbos, are led down the mountainside in rather compromised culverts such as these. These culverts take the water into a storm water system here in Upper Oranjezicht. Springs are formed when water percolates through sandstone, which is of course prevalent here on Table Mountain. But when this water connects with impermeable granite, it issues as a spring. Our drinking water comes from one of 2 sources. The first is surface water, which basically is rainfall runoff into rivers and dams. The other is groundwater. This is water which is collected underground in underground lakes, and these are known as aquifers. It is precisely streams like this which could play a vital role in a dual water system. And this system brings with it very promising solutions for Cape Town's freshwater crisis. For example, just a portion of this potential dual water system could provide for the freshwater needs of up to 110,000 people in Cape Town City. They may also provide new transport opportunities and the development of common public spaces through an innovative civic hydrology development methodology. One of the other benefits of a well-managed dual water system is that you can harness the power of stormwater, and this power would be generated through the reinstatement of mills. This power could be used for irrigation and public lighting. Now, this is Platteklip Mill. It's the original structure, and it was revived during the Edwardian era as a semi-detached cottage. This shows the old steps that led up to the mill and the slot into which the water wheel would have fitted. During the early stages of settlement here in Cape Town, consumers were drinking untreated water. That was until 1869 when this structure was built. It's a slow sand filtration system here in Platteklip Gorge. Not only is it low cost and low maintenance, it is also extremely effective. And this type of system is used today in London to provide fresh drinking water. Even though this is clearly derelict, it would take about R1 million to resurrect it. And what that would mean is this: we would be saving up to hundreds of millions of litres of water, which is currently being wasted as we speak and running into the Atlantic Ocean.
When one uncovers the history of a place, it is usually through title deeds, ownership and power. However, when one uncovers the history of a place through water, it uncovers the popular history of that place. Because water follows the path of least resistance. It has no boundaries. And you start noticing things like street names that have an obvious reference to water. And then there are the buildings and the remnants of the civic hydrology systems that once existed. But here at Homestead Park, the original Oranjezicht farmstead, remnants in the park include an outbuilding from 1800, a bell tower from 1775, as well as an old spring, Stadsfontein, or main spring as it has become known, and some leywater channels, as well as other elements of civic hydrology.
This is Craft's hydroelectrical, and as the name simply implies, it's a hydroelectric power plant. Interestingly, it was this power plant which provided power for Cape Town City's public lighting before most of London had switched from gas-powered lighting. To our minds, this is a perfect example of a resource which is begging to be reinstated. The FIFA World Cup has been a catalyst in reclaiming some of this water for the Greenpoint Urban Park, a 12.5 hectare area within the common. This will be a public access space for recreation and social interaction within a peaceful, green context. Water from the historic artesian springs will be introduced into the park in ways that create gathering spaces where people can see, hear, touch and be educated about the water. Channels and spillways will feed into low-lying ponds, which in turn will feed into biodiversity gardens and a wetlands garden. Reclaim Camissa, together with Green Goal, have set this in motion.
Green Goal is the official event greening initiative of the 2010 FIFA World Cup in South Africa. Cape Town and the Western Cape Province decided early on in the planning to focus on sustainability as part of the event preparations. And we also saw the opportunity to invest in the environment through legacy projects. We also invested in water-saving technologies in the stadium, and we are harvesting rainwater from the roof of the stadium.
In the planning stages of this 100-hectare piece of land, we realized that there's going to be a need for a substantial amount of irrigation water. The discovery of the original water supply to the city, which is a number of mountain springs in Oranje's area, and that water at the moment is running into the ocean. So to find a way of capturing that water, to bring that water to the park, sounded like an ideal situation. This is going to be a water wheel that's going to be placed on top of the stonework behind me here. The idea of the water wheel is to really show people how energy, electricity, can be generated through water movement, which is the old traditional way or form of generating energy.
This area was actually a seasonal wetland, and in fact people used to canoe and sail here even in winter when there was a big body of water. But now it's been changed into, we've developed the new Greenpoint Urban Park, and this is one of 3 theme areas in the Biodiversity Showcase Garden. And this area around us is the Wetland Walk, where we showcase some of the amazing biodiversity that we have in the wetlands around Cape Town.
South Africa has one of the most progressive water regulatory regimes in the world. We are one of 20 nations that actually recognizes fresh water as a basic human right. But this stands in contrast to our capacity to actually deliver that fresh water, as well as our dire environmental challenges.
Philemon, you are the Director of Water and Sanitation for Cape Town. Why were the springs scrapped from the Asset Resource Register in 1994?
I'm not so sure about the scrapping from the Asset Register. They could have been scrapped as a source of drinking water for the city. We have taken the springs out of our system or value chain of supply, water supply, where we say that it's one of the sources.
With Cape Town set to collide with the freshwater crisis by 2013, the development of this project is crucial to the future of the city. Let's hear what the people behind Reclaim Camissa have to say. This is magnificent, Carol. It's like discovering a long-lost treasure.
It is a long-lost treasure. This is in the region of 4.6 billion years old.
Caron, you obviously very passionate about this as the founder of Camissa. What does it mean to you, and maybe also what do you feel it means to Cape Town, the city?
I think that it's a way to transform the city and to transform the society. Really felt that people need to be exposed to what lies here and what potential lies within that.
Doesn't it on some level to you seem utterly bizarre that we need to fight to save water in a country in which we are only using 30 to 40% of this vital resource? Why do we need to fight?
It's complete madness, but the water that was produced from this spring alone and 4 of the other springs was sustaining a population more than twice the size of the current population, and today we're wasting it.
What's stopping Camissa from moving forward?
Really, it's just funding. We're looking at this point for seed funding to be able to get to the place we need to be in about 6 months to be able to start implementing. And at the moment we have a Facebook page which people can communicate with us through, and through which we can put out information. And soon we'll be able to have a website up. We have loads of information to put up there that really does bind us as a nation and provide information in the broader sense for global application and for other people in other places to understand how one goes about reclaiming not only your water, but also your land and public space, and therefore your public identity.
This is actually astonishing. The amount of water which is being wasted as we speak is simply staggering. This is our heritage. Faced with our challenges, some would say that this is actually criminal.
We have in the studio with us the chairperson of the Board of Trustees of Reclaim Camissa and water expert Prof. Anthony Turton. Why was this resource of clean water struck off the asset register back in '94?
Because human beings are by nature arrogant, and in our arrogance we thought that we tamed all of our national water resources, and in the context of Camissa particularly, the water was a little bit polluted, a little bit tainted, so it was sent down into the sewers of Cape Town, from where it was basically forgotten. And
so now with the project to essentially reclaim this resource, you guys are really thinking quite deeply about the way that we interact with our water in the country.
Yes, I believe that Reclaim Camissa works at a number of levels. And at the one level is a philosophical level. It actually defines the relationship between us, Homo sapiens, human beings, and the resource that sustains us, water. The very first development that happened in the country when European settlement happened in 1652 was in fact around Camissa. So the story of South Africa as a country from 1652 until today, until 2010, is embodied in the, let's call it the institutional memory of that particular river. So initially the river was used to sustain gardening, food production, etc., used to replenish the ships that came into the harbour, and ultimately it came, developed to a point where Cape Town got its electricity from there. So we believe that by reclaiming the civic hydrology, we can tell the story of our national development as it relates to water, but we can learn from the past and project into the future. And that's the important part of it. Being a fairly small river, it's my view that because we are a water-constrained national economy, we have to move towards a new future in which recycling becomes part and parcel of our ethic. And part of that transition from the way we used to do things to the way we're going to have to do things is the way we define ourselves within the context of your program of man and nature, humans and nature. And how do we transition from becoming consumers of a resource to becoming custodians of a resource? And if we look nationally, we have to recycle our total national water resource around about 1.7 times by the year 2035. So we're better to learn how to do that than in this very small, historically relevant, culturally significant little river, the Vasterrivier, now part of the Reclaim Camissa.
A lot of what you're talking about is going to require a champion, I would imagine, at least at ministerial level, to actually drive it, to get that change of thinking. But what about just ordinary people on the street, or maybe small business owners, or even corporate CEOs? What can they be doing now to better manage our resource?
Well, if they just become aware of the fact that we have to transition to this recycling economy. If you're a corporate, of course, you can adopt Camissa. I can see a whole lots of corporate social responsibility type of initiatives, simply because it's such a bankable project in the sense that it is so steeped in history, and you've got so many developmental opportunities, from the reopening of canals to the landscaping of communities, all sorts of public open spaces. One of the springs that we've recently discovered happens to arise in one of the buildings of one of the corporates in Cape Town. So there's a lovely opportunity now to take what is a problem right now, a wet basement, to turn that into a public fountain or a public spring, reconnecting the public with this traditional heritage of ours. So there are many, many opportunities, but really what it amounts to is us understanding that we need to change our relationship vis-a-vis the natural resources that sustain us, of which water is an important one, but not the only one.
Prof, it's fascinating, but scary as well in realising that we're going to have to completely change our thinking in the way that we interact with this resource. But thank you very much for the time. It's certainly food for thought.
Pleasure indeed.
Ek hoop dat die owerhede wat Kaapstad se water beheer na hierdie situasie sal kyk. Hierdie tye kan mens nie bekostig om die moederstad se drinkwater in die see te laat inloop nie.